Hi there, I'm Meyer with ATV Scene, and we're out here with Kawasaki at the KFX450 intro, and getting to ride the bike quite a bit. We started this morning, had some lunch, and finishing up the day. We did some trail riding, some motocross, all hill climbs, creek crossings, all kind of stuff, some cross-country, motocross type, everything. Having a blast, feeling out the bike and trying to compare it to some of the other bikes, the other three big name bikes, the Suzuki, the Yamaha, and the Honda. And as far as I'm concerned, it's stacking up pretty well.
It's a pretty unique bike. It's got a lot of new features that we haven't seen before, like first ever quad with an aluminum frame. And one thing I noticed about it, back when I raced, I ran a Roll Lobo 2 that has the real narrow bottom frame tube, and this Kawasaki's designed the same way. It's got a narrow frame tube to reduce bump steer and keep your camber right when you're going through the rough stuff. I thought it handled pretty good. You know, I'm trying to be objective because, you know, coming off a full race bike, going onto a stock machine, you got to expect it not to handle as good as a full race bike, but I was pretty impressed with it.
A lot of power out of the bike, doing a lot of the big stuff on the motocross track. It's pulling all the hills awesome. It's not really bogging anywhere. There's some sandy, loamy corners and stuff, and it seems like it's pulling right through it.
The suspension on it seems to work pretty good. I suppose it soaks up the rough stuff pretty good for me, and it flies really good through the air. That was one thing I noticed, that it's really light at like 348 pounds or something like that, and it flies through the air really good, and you can throw it around pretty easy and whip it, and you know, tap the brake, front end comes down right away, and the front end's fairly light too. It's not too light to where you can't control it, but it floats over the rough stuff pretty good. So
handles real good, turns real good, it feels light when I'm jumping it. It's easy to throw around, cross it up, set it up for the corner. It's a great bike to jump and throw around.
As far as the motor's concerned, it runs really strong. It's got a lot of power where it needs to be. I would prefer maybe a little bit more on the bottom, but I was still pretty happy with it. It just something I'm used to, a little more torque, but it's really powerful. It's got titanium header pipe, and you can buy a ECU kit or something, like a racer kit, to tune the ignition. It's a fuel injected quad like the Suzuki's, so you know, now we're getting into the days where you're tuning a quad with a laptop, so you can do a lot of different things with it and adjust it real easily.
In the woods, it pulls fine up the hills, the big long hill climbs and trails, and as far as the power goes, it's got a good power plant in it, and I'm pretty impressed with it for a stock bike. The only complaint that we had riding it was the front fenders were a little cramped for our knees. Coming into a corner and setting up on the inside, our knees kind of dragged the front fenders and wouldn't let us get off the bike enough to set up for the corner. We had to, once we figured it out and got around it, it was nice. And then big plus with this bike is you can just unbolt the front fenders and or the sides of them, and it'll come off. And that was where we were running into trouble, was with the black pieces. So a couple bolts in a couple minutes, we had them off, and that problem would be out of the way.
And in the most part too, it's pretty reliable. Me and Aaron were saying that if it's going to break, it's going to be us that does it, because we're pretty hard on stuff. We just kind of go full out the whole way, and just, you know, like, we're not working on it, so if it comes back broken, who cares? And we definitely took it through its paces, and I was very, very impressed. A skid plate came off once, but that's because Aaron told me to hit the jump in second gear, and I just cased the crap out of it. Other than that, I think a big rock hit the foot peg and bent it maybe 3 degrees or something. Like, it wasn't anything bad. You could take this thing out and ride it hard and put it away wet, not really worry about it too much. So all in all, it was a pretty impressive machine, and it's something that if I were looking for a bike to go out and race, I'd look very hardly at this, and this would probably be either this or one other one. So yeah, if I were trying to get into racing, I would say this would be a top choice.